Are you going to announce it?
Probably.
Let's announce it.
No.
Today on the Tim Marner Podcast Show, we've got Victoria has a fire.
Hose on fire.
Hose on fire. Pronounce it again.
Hozaifeh.
Hozaifeh, the philanthropy manager at I think we should announce it. No, you're the philanthropy manager at
I think it's
Bolton Lads and Girls Club.
At BLGC.
Sorry, BLGC.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to talk about that. Let's move on.
You're not, are you at all?
Probably not. I'm just like, why have you done that? Why have you done that? BLGC, it's the Bolton Lads and Girls Club. It shall always be that in my heart.
And you know what? It is in the heart of many people, but there's many charities out there, and I think sometimes the word Bolton could restrict us. Our reach goes above and beyond just that area, and I think having to explain that to people, if we're bringing on and supporters in Manchester and areas of Greater Manchester, BLGC is almost the umbrella now. We're always going to be proud of our DNA and our heritage over 130 years, but this is where we're evolving into. And I think the other aspect is you've got to look at young people and you've got to look at where we are current day. And do you want to pigeon someone into lads and girls? What if they don't sit in those boxes? What if they sit outside of those boxes? So I think we've had to evolve to a place that everybody can feel at home. And that's where Infinity's come from. You know, the young people asked us to call our youth centre Infinity. So we're BLGC. If people want to make a connotation or a note back to the original heritage, we're going to celebrate that. You're proud of where you come from, but you're proud of where you're evolving. And I think because our reach goes much wider, we'd almost be pigeonholing ourselves saying we're still Bolton Lads and Girls Club. So BLGC is taking us into the future.
Shut up, Victoria. It's just like the way you deliver stuff and things like that. I've got absolutely no comeback to that at all. It makes absolutely perfect sense.
Because it's the truth.
I totally get it. But in my heart, the brand will always be Bolton Lads and Girls Club.
And I get that.
And I totally understand the BLGC thing.
Yeah. Especially
the way you've just explained it. So, philanthropy manager, what I know we've asked you this before, but what does that mean?
So, I was brought on to help support our income generation aspirations, so help support it, help drive it with the team that we've got on fundraising. And essentially that could be building relationships with individuals, it could be building relationships with businesses, but it's really about those understanding people and how they want to support us, or making and maybe allowing them to understand how they can support us. You know, it works two ways. So it's really, those relationships are fundamental to us and how we really build those income generation aspirations, whether it's the people we have, whether it's the services, whether it's the facilities. You know, as a charity, you're completely dependent on people giving and people supporting us. And I've only been in this world for a year now, and I can't believe how crucial it is.
Where were you before?
I was a buyer at JD Sports. I'd been in the buying world for over 10 years. And it didn't fulfill me anymore. I wasn't happy in myself. And I think it took time to spend time with, I've got a woman that's really close to me. She's a life coach. She's taken me on so many journeys I'm learning Reiki with her at the moment. And it was realizing the part of my life that I wasn't fully happy with. And it was my career. And I think I believe if you're in something, you've got to be in it 100%.
So before in JD you had a job, but you feel like you've got a career within BLGC?
I had a career in both. I take everything as like it's...
But I don't know if you can call something a career if you've not got any fulfilment from it.
That's why I stopped it, and I had to say that. I had to be really honest with them and say I could stay here and I could carry on, but my heart's not here anymore. So
it's just a job.
Yeah, and I think before COVID, I'd very much identified that my job was me. And it was when I was at home and when I was with my family, and I looked at it and thought, I'm not that job, and I'm not my car, and I'm not that title. What do I want to stand for? And I come from a background of my parents were foster carers, and I'd seen from an early age what young people can be exposed to and how people can let them down and how the system can let them down. I'd probably seen maybe too much from a young age, but it shaped me to where I am today. And when we were going through COVID, and I think the more vulnerable became even more vulnerable, I couldn't sit with that. And I thought 1 minute, whatever industry you're in, whatever you do as your craft, do it and own it. But I can't own that anymore because I want to help people. And I needed to make a change. And I thought, right, so I started just fundraising myself. I was doing walks, I was doing whatever I could, trying to get money to sort of children's charities. And I thought, I've got to take this even bigger. And it was only meeting with my life coach. You know, some people might go, oh, life coach, but I think everybody needs that person.
Yeah, mentor.
That independent person that's not affiliated necessarily with your life and maybe their own agendas that they've got over you, or you speak to your parents, your partner, your friends. It's that independent person I could bounce off with. And she was like, have you ever thought about joining a career in fundraising? I was like, I didn't even know it was a job. And we just started exploring it. And to know I could work and spend my day helping a children's charity, I felt like I'd struck gold. I was like, wow, that's what I want to do. And then you go through that phase of everyone going, no, you don't. And she's having a midlife crisis. She's hit her mid-30s and she's literally lost the plot. And I just was clear with my intentions. That was my dream. And I know what I wanted to do. And I knew I wanted to bring yoga. So at the same time, I was learning to be a yoga teacher. And I thought, I want to bring yoga to young people. I want to make it more accessible. It's a very privileged activity. You know, you've got to almost have money to be able to be funding £10 to £12 a week. And I think the people that really need it are the people that are growing up.
Agreed.
To connect with your mind, your body, your spirit, your breath. And I sat in the interview with Kelly and I said, I'm going to be changing careers here. I don't have any experience, but I'm great at relationship building and I understand sort of the values of brands and brand relationships. And I think if charities can work as businesses, I can come and work for you and do that. And I also want to put my hat on the table and go, I'm going to teach the kids yoga as well. And fast forward a year, that's what I'm doing. So yeah, it empowers you to know you can have a dream and go, I'm going to do it. And it's not been easy and I've had loads of failures, but I'm getting there and I'm living it now. And I feel like I'm living a bit more my truth. I'm in a world where I'm really enjoying it. And like I say, it's not easy.
Should we say this little announcement? We'll have to say this little announcement.
I mean, I didn't know it was going to be an announcement, but if you want
I want to announce it to the public. So just announce it. What's actually happening now?
So I was brought on as philanthropy manager. Kelly is going to be going on maternity leave, who's our head of fundraising.
Congratulations, Kelly.
I know, amazing for Kelly. Absolute blessing. She's absolutely fabulous. She's been fundamental in my growth within the charity world and within just bringing me in and opening me up to this world. And she's unbelievable. She's the best manager it's refreshing. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, really pleased for her. And yeah, she's asked me to step into that role while she's off. So I'll be looking after the team while she's on a maternity. So
how do you feel?
I feel great. I feel, I feel really blessed. And I just want to do the team proud and do the charity proud. And it's about showing up every day and saying, I'm going to make this possible for us. And she's done an amazing job. So in this year while you're off, I want to smash it and do it justice. So yeah.
What are you thinking? You'd like to... Obviously got a new CEO in now.
Yeah, she's fabulous.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Yeah, it's a really, really good team that's coming forward. And I think...
Yeah. Should we do shout out to John and Harriet? Harriet.
Definitely shout out to John and Harriet and to Julie and to Amy, the rest of our team that you're going to meet soon.
Yeah.
And obviously we've been working with you and I think it's helping us step outside our comfort zone. And that phrase of saying, thinking like a business, it's so competitive out there. Whether you're a brand, whether you're a business, whether you're a charity, every charity is worthwhile. And I think just maybe trying to elevate ourselves and think outside the box and speak to people differently, get that engagement, get people having a conversation. Yeah. Are we the best at showing people what we do and who we support? And I think it's about being, I'm not a big fan of the word humble, but it's about being humble and going, let's educate ourselves with people like yourself and spend time and really understand what we need to do. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a journey.
I mean, the Bolton Lads and Girls Club is a business. Everybody knows it as a business and you know what it does, but nobody really understands it as a brand. And that that's what we're going to be working on a bit more, aren't we? Yeah. And so people can really understand who we are and with the values of the business and, what we actually... I think who we actually are, because I don't feel anybody really understands who BLGC, Bolton Lads and Girls Club, is. They know it's a business and they need funding to support but like, you know, our true values and the stories behind it, you know, really telling the kids stories and telling our stories really going to be important.
I think we do so much, and we feel we've evolved now to present day into like almost a holistic one-stop shop for young people. And when you're so multifaceted and you do so much, it's then like we have those conversations with John and Harriet. How do we get that across? What part of our services and our facilities? For me, the most important thing are the people. And maybe people don't always like that, but it's the people we've got. You know, the centre's amazing and the services are amazing, but the people, for me, are the pillars and the foundation that build up what we do. And they're why the young people come through the doors. And then it's the young people and the young people's stories, like you say, and the breakthroughs that those young people have. We've started a yoga session on a Tuesday night, and we're literally are we in maybe week 4 or week 5? It's even spending time with the young people of an evening when we'd be going home. You know, a lot of us now are getting the opportunity to come on session and spend time with the young people and help the sort of youth team at the evening and join their team, and just being there and seeing the young people firsthand and having conversations. Well, it just brings me back home and goes, this is why I'm here. You know, you have a tough day, you have a day where no one's picking up the phone or it's a quiet day, and that's the reason why I'm there. Getting at the root and getting involved with the source of the charity, it's fundamental. So, yeah.
Can you give me some stories of things that have sort of resonated with you with the most? You know, like, you don't have to mention any names and stuff like that, just to give people a bit of a context of, you know, who these kids are and what they're going through.
Yeah. So a big one for me personally, coming from parents as foster carers, you know, the person I call my brother was fostered by my parents, and he is my brother, and he's completely turned his life around. And that was through having stable sort of guardians, parental figures in my mum and my dad and me. He was actually sexually abused in the care system, so the care system let him down. You know, he's a head chef now at a vegan restaurant, and it's not about that title, but this is what he's done with his life, and he's got 2 kids, and he's one of my best friends. He's fantastic. And we support a lot of care leavers and children in care, and they don't have those people. And that to me is a fundamental, that every young person, every adult should have someone they can rely on. And, you know, we support children in care and aftercare in many ways, but one of the ways that's fundamental is we have a mentoring program. So it really relies on volunteers, and we're doing a big push at the moment to really just open people's eyes of ways to get involved, and that being a mentor for a young person is so fundamental. And it could be, well, it can save lives at the end of the day, but it could be that change in someone's life that just gets them on the right track. And I think because I've seen it firsthand in my own house, and I've seen it with many children that came through our doors, you're changing the course of someone's life. So not only do I see it on the mentoring program, where you're helping a young person build those basic needs of self-confidence, self-resilience, just believing in yourself and knowing you've got someone you can talk to, or maybe igniting a little spark in you that goes, oh, I didn't know I could do that, or am I interested in that? Not only do we have it on the mentoring program, I'm seeing it in the youth club of an evening, that these young people are speaking to the youth workers and the volunteers. These are the people that they rely on. Yeah, they come and use all the facilities we've got. We've got a gym, we've got a sports hall, we've got a recording studio, we've got a dance studio, art therapy room, and they're all amazing. But at the end of the day, they're coming back to speak to the people that are there. And sometimes, you know, some of the things can really escalate, and it's really big things that are going on. But sometimes it's smaller things that add to that bigger thing that just help a young person and maybe ignite something in them. So that, for me, without going into people's names and stories, is huge, because every person should have that person in their life, you know. And if they don't, what's going to happen? What's out there for them? You know, it's a grim world, really. So, you know, many of us have been really blessed to even have one figure in our life whether it doesn't have to be a parent, we've had someone there, and I'm seeing firsthand, present day, the poverty levels it's disgusting, really. It's insane that we can live in England, in the Northwest, and we're going through this, you know, delivering food parcels, we have a food bank and things like that. And I think you need a young person's basic needs to be met. They need to be fed, they need to be warm, and they need to feel that sense of love, and just that they've got someone to talk to and someone will listen to them. Because what are we shaping them for the future if they've not got that? I suppose that's how I feel.
How sort of prevalent is the lack of love with some of these kids? Are they just
Massive.
not getting anything?
No. And it comes from a multitude, and our sort of primary support supports children and young people between the ages of 8 all the way up to 21 or 25 with special educational needs. But it was during COVID we saw a bit of a lack in local services around helping families as well. So we've sort of widened our reach. And again, that's another reason of blgc, to family support as well. And I think for young people that come and use our services, they're going home at the end of the day of the evening, whether that be to parents or siblings or carers or guardians. You've got to have a whole holistic family approach. And that's what we've done. And it's non-judgmental. It's really to help and support those families. So it's like a family assist support side of things. And the team that works at our place, they're unbelievable. And what they're building, it's very nurturing, and it could be unemployment, it could be housing issues, it could be food, need help with food bank, it could be, mental health and well-being. And the team set up coffee mornings at Infinity as well. So it's utilising that space in the day if we're not in holiday club, when the young people are at school or at college or at jobs, and it's going, come in and let's spend time together and let's build a bit of a community as well there. So yeah, it's I think on a statistic level, if that's where you want to go, it's 1 in 4 families now in the Northwest are experiencing food insecurities. And I think we know everybody's feeling the pinch from energy bills rising and food prices going up. We're all feeling it, but this is the level of people that we're almost at that border, and they're dropping down into that area of not being able to cope. And it's horrifying. I don't think it's going to get any better. And we just see consistent levels of people presenting themselves to us. I
think that's why it's so important, the work that we're doing together, that we're able to tell these stories.
Yeah.
We're not doing it from, look at us, we're not doing a victim, but it's just making people aware of what is actually going on. People don't understand what's going on.
It's the education level of saying, I could cold call all day long and go, we're a children's charity. I could say, so what? I've seen 1 million children's charities, and all we're trying to say is, these are the umbrellas, and this is what's going on in your local town, in your local sort of Northwest area. Come and join us. Come and help. There's many ways to get involved.
What are the ways of getting involved?
So we run a patron sort of society family support, where we get many businesses, many local businesses, many individuals that come and help us and support us. So that could be monetary donations, and we've got really good retention. The same supporters are the people that have been there for years. And
what do you need to earn? What does BGLC need to earn to actually?
It's over 2.5 million a year.
Right.
And that's kind of ever increasing with what's going on at the moment.
Yeah.
And like I say, that could not be done without the support of our patrons and our supporters. There's the grants and trust side as well. So we have a team that focuses on that area as well. But for me, I see it as a family, and we're doing it with them. This would not be possible. This is what the tangible results, what you see, is what you're bringing into your local community. And that, again, is what I think is so great about what we do. It's here, it's there. Yeah. We report on everything because that's who we are. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. We want to see the results.
Yeah. Do people understand the results? Is it like, doing a video that, this money you've done has actually helped do this, and actually just, quantify the word a little bit so people can understand what that money's just kind of got. Yeah. The social media is good, and it needs to be a little bit more listen. That this is what you're doing for these kids. What else do you do? So obviously do that, the mentoring program. Which is
so
really
we
cool.
have a big volunteer support as well. So we had over 200 volunteers before COVID, we've lost about 100 of them. And I think, you know, cost of living is a big part of that. Yeah. I think reevaluating people's lives as well. It's time you're asking for at the end of the day. So going down a more social value route, when we talk to businesses, it could be People's Make a Difference Day. Yeah. And it's ways of showing businesses, this is how you can get involved. This is how your whole workforce can come and add value. It doesn't have to be young person facing. There's so many ways to get involved. Look at the Bolton Beer Festival, for example. We rely on the help of volunteers to come and make that event possible for us. But then there's also ways like the mentoring program, where it's a commitment of a couple of hours every couple of weeks, and you are matched with a young person, and that's kind of that journey for a year. It's absolutely fantastic, and people get so much out of it themselves, like they wouldn't believe, do you know what I mean? So that's another avenue. But we're trying to be really kind of open and flexible at the moment in terms of volunteers. So we have a whole sort of plethora of ideas, but come to us and let us know your ideas. We're here. Use us as the canvas and tell us what you want to do, because there's so many ways. We have people come and run in like art therapy sessions with young people as well. People doing holiday club takeovers where businesses will come in and just help our youth team and come and help with the young people. And it's just fun, you know. So yeah, there's many ways of getting involved from a volunteering side.
And how do they get in touch with you? How does somebody come to you and say, look, I want to get involved? Do they go to the website? Do they go to Instagram?
Yeah,
What's the best way of getting in touch with?
Either side, like all the social media channels. Obviously, we're all on LinkedIn. Everybody can connect through that. All social media side. All the details are on the website in terms of our emails. Just drop us a line or pick up the phone and just ring reception, and you'll come through to one of us and we'll discuss all the ways that you can get involved. Or if people want to come down and have a tour and see who we are and what we're about, that's another kind of video we're doing at the moment, to just really explore and show people this is who we are and what we do. Yeah. Because like you say, are we really telling that story? And hopefully getting some of the young people to be involved in that as well, because it's a good platform for them as well. And the other aspect is sort of employability and enterprise. So that's a really big focus of ours, that, you know, fundamentally we want children to be children and enjoy and have fun, and we're providing them with somewhere where they can come and have food. It's warm, it's safe, there's many engaging things to do, fun activities. But then there's the life skill side of it as well. So let's have a talk about the future. Let's talk about aspirations. You know, is there a certain sport you're into? Is there a certain sort of vocation you want to go down? School isn't for everyone, and we know that. So what are you interested in? And if we can ignite those sort of flames and those sort of ideas in young people, let's help you get there. So another way businesses can get involved is we have these like World of Work days, or we'll go and, you know, a business might come in and talk about their industry, or we'll do a tour around sort of certain businesses. And again, it's for young people going, oh, I didn't even know that was a career, or that you could be that part of that area of that business, and you don't necessarily need a degree for it. So yeah, that's another avenue, and businesses seem to be really sort of interested in that area, because I think it's a great way of sort of bringing apprenticeships in your local area and things like that. So yeah, many ways.
So where did the knife thing come from? The
lifestyle
that
apparel, yeah.
Where's that come from?
So we've seen knife crime, as probably everyone has, a lot more prevalent in our local area, and we've had some members who have lost family members themselves. Some members have lost friends. Some members have lost siblings, and we have a bereavement support service. So obviously from our side, they were fully supported. And for us, that's where we thought that would end, that we'd be nurturing them and supporting them to deal with their grief. And it was a small group of them that actually came to us and said, no, this isn't. One of them actually said to us, I could have gone down the same direct route of where they've taken my family member and gone at it with violence, or why don't I rewrite the script? Why don't I change things? And why don't we create a knife crime awareness project? And that's what they've done. And that's where lifestyle apparel was sort of born. And the lifestyle aspect was really to educate young people about that lifestyle choice, and that there isn't just one route to go down, and that you don't have to use violence. And they've actually educated us in saying that a lot of knives that are being carried on the street are because young people are scared. And it doesn't, it makes sense when someone says it to you, doesn't it? It's that fear aspect. And that a lot of the injuries and fatalities are people's own knives being turned on them. It doesn't need to happen. And this is coming from young people that have dealt with grief, that have seen this violence, that have gone, we don't want this anymore, we want to change it. So for us, we're like, whatever you want to do, we're going to support you. So it started with a graphic of a shattered knife, and it has completely escalated to them learning how to print their own t-shirts, to them looking at branding, to them coming up with hashtags, to them wanting to be positive advocates in the centre and for young people out on the street, in schools, in colleges. They're completely inspirational young people. And the sky's the limit at the moment. We've talked about setting up a website. We've had some support from some local businesses that have brought them a domain name and things like that. So yeah, it's alongside coping with what they've got going on outside, they're really passionate about sort of getting this to light and really bringing it into something. So yeah, really something so devastating becoming something so positive.
Yeah. Incredible that, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And obviously you've got the sort of like music side of it, which is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So we've got a recording studio. We've got a great guy that works on our team that's been working at podcasts with the young people. We've got a music room as well. And I think it's just being that creative outlet for young people that you might not always want to be in the open rec area. We can get up to about 200 young people a night. And for some young people, that's not where they want to be. They want to be in the gym area. They want to be on the court, or maybe they want to be upstairs, and maybe they just want to write some lyrics and just let it out. We don't censor anything. Let them just be creative and just get that out there. And it's fantastic. It's, I'm very biased, but it's an amazing facility. It's really good.
What can you see coming up for BLGC? What can you see that's going to be happening?
What we're doing at the moment is listening to demand and evolving. So we've launched Connect, which is a special educational needs evening on a Monday night, and that's an all-inclusive group. We're in the process of building like a sensory room as well. So it's understanding what are our areas of opportunity and what can we do to sort of develop and make sure we're being all inclusive with every single group. We've got a food bank downstairs. It's kind of stayed down there at the moment, and we're not housing the boxing ring at the moment. We're working with a company to get it in a unit outside, and we can get boxing back open. So that's come from the young people. So we have a youth panel team, and they've said to us, well, we want boxing back open. It's the highest growth sport that they're seeing on YouTube, and we're not facilitating that service. So let's get the boxing ring back open. So we constantly go to the young people and go, what do you want to see? We've had some feedback at the moment that we've not got enough bike racks outside the front. A lot of bikes are getting stolen. So we're speaking to the council. What can we do right now? This is your centre. It's not ours. What can we do? Do you know what I mean? On another side of things, from sort of the targeted youth side, because we've got 14 mental health practitioners within our umbrella, we're getting 60% of referrals at the moment with self-harm. So, that's the level of what's going on in schools with young people. I think it's about 1 in 6 young girls now will either have thoughts of wanting to self-harm or they will self-harm. So when we're trying to get that across of what we do, you can see in the space of you asking me that question, I've gone from boxing, I've gone from Connect, SEND, and then I've gone to the mental health side. There's so many areas and there's so much we want to do, but there's only so much that funding will allow that happen. So, we have to sit there and go blue sky. What do we want to do? Well, the baseline is we've got to keep the services open, and we've got to keep supporting young people. Look at yoga, we've just brought it onto the schedule. So what else do we need to do to our offering, our universal, free, open access offering, to make sure young people can access as many opportunities as possible? But then how do you support all your young people through your mental health services as well? So we support young carers. And I think it's now 1 in 5 young people will be a young carer in some form. So there is so many young people in schools, and they go under the radar. And generally because they probably, and this is not to generalise, but do they want to discuss with people what's going on at home?
Probably not.
You know, do they even know they're a young carer? So we're working at the moment on a project to make sure we can identify young carers. And sometimes they're the conversations in the youth centre where something will be said to someone, and then a volunteer or youth worker will go, okay, I'm putting the dots together now. I think they might be a young carer. And it's just making sure they can access that support, whether it's one-on-one support in terms of mental well-being, whether it's respite to just be a child. You know, their caring responsibilities, and this is as young as the age of 8, could be so extreme that they're not going to school or they're not getting the chance to be a child. So how can we help them access all those areas of what every other young child's having? And then it's bringing them together. So the group that we support have told us they want a peer-to-peer support network. They don't just want to work one-on-one with us. They want to know what other young carers are going through. And that's what we've built them. So it's listening to that and it's evolving. So that's what we constantly do. We don't stay stagnant. We constantly look at every area and go, how can we improve this? How can we make it better? These are the statistics that we're getting through. How can we make sure we reach more young people? And then when they're getting the help on the mental health side, come and use our facilities, you know, come and interact with more young people, come and enjoy art therapy. There's so many areas of breakthroughs that happen in that art therapy room. And I bet it would with adults as well. It doesn't take you sort of a rocket science to work that out. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
So just go through it. How can people get in touch again?
So they can get in touch on our social media channels, get in touch on the website, ring reception. But, you know, I can give you all my details for you to put on. Yeah, but anyway, just get in touch with us and we'd love to have a conversation.
Mint, aren't you? Like proper legit, mate. Like proper legit. Honoured
Thank you.
to have you on and share this story.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.
Tim Marner, what, you're ready with the best. Tim Marner, what, you're ready with the best. Tim Marner, what, you're ready with the best. Tim Marner, what, you're ready with the best.